Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. I'm sure you're all very excited about seeing these guys on the park and what they can do for 80 minutes. But one of the great things about this club as well is you'll get to know them a little bit as people. Events like tonight, the signing sessions and the time you get to spend in their company. So we're going to get three of them up to take a few quick questions just before the rest of the guys will come up and do their songs at the end. You all got your songs ready? Terrific. Okay, we'll start with Corey. As Greg has already pointed out, the trio is complete and the all-time greatest clubs in the world. Congratulations on that, Corey. A huge amount. A huge amount of experience playing with different players, different playing groups, some of the best players in the world. What's been your first impressions of the playing group, bearing in mind some of them are standing beside you?
I was lucky enough to come for 4 days before I went away on holiday after the French season, and then come back through pre-season. But my first impression was just that the boys they work bloody hard. You know, they especially coming from France, where it's more espresso and croissants. Getting another shock of the culture. You know, it's very similar to New Zealand, where the boys want to work hard for each other and you know, work as a team, which sort of reaffirmed why I signed here. When talking with Gregor, that was one of the biggest things that really attracted me to the club.
Fantastic to hear, I'm sure. You've also been lucky enough to live in some of the best cities in the world, and again, you've managed to complete that. That with the move to Glasgow. What's been your first impressions of Glasgow, other than the weather?
Again, the people, I think, you know, it's pretty special when you can walk down the street, you walk into cafes and they want to have a yarn, they hear the accent and stuff like that. So just meeting some of the people around Glasgow has been fantastic, and you know, I was lucky enough to play here a couple of years ago with Toulouse, and the fans, you know, obviously make the club. So really looking forward to getting out there and you know, getting a packed Scotstoun.
Thank you very much, Corey. Great to hear from you. And Scott, here from you. To get the injury news over and done with first and foremost, you took a bit of a bang against Gloucester. It's been a bit of chat about it. How are you? How's it coming along?
Yeah. I took a shot to my left shoulder during the Gloucester game a couple of minutes before half time. So I'm just sort of waiting results for some scans and just sort of seeing how it's going to go over the next wee while, hopefully.
I'm sure everybody in here is very keen to see you back as soon as possible and wish you a speedy recovery. Gregor touched on the academy earlier on. You've got a decent amount of Glasgow experience already, obviously, when the guys were away at the World Cup. Your under-20s experience at your own World Cup. How's the academy process been to you, and what do you believe are the standout areas that's helped you gain your first full contract?
Yeah, well, for me, I joined the academy straight out of school. I was 17 at the time, coming into a situation where I was playing with players that I'd watched growing up, and the players that, you know, you looked up to when you were younger, and it was quite a big shock to start with. But then you begin to realise that the more confident you can be, the more they respect you, and the more that you can sort of get integrated in the squad easier. And the academy is a great system whereby they really push you physically and sort of mentally, and really sort of hone your skills in lots of areas. And there's a lot of crossover between the academy and the Warriors, so we get to come in and train at lots of different situations, which is, you know, great for us to be able to learn from people like Johnny and Al. For me, for example, just how to run line out situations like that. So the academy was great for me.
And you'll be glad to know it's mostly Johnny teaching you now and not me, so I'm sure you'll do a lot better. You talk about the responsibility of the senior players, of the guys that are in the squad. That now falls on you as well. The young lads coming through are going to be looking at the journey that you've taken over the last few years. Is that something that you enjoy, something you're looking forward to and will hopefully thrive on?
Well, yes, quite weird, because obviously most of the guys in the academy are probably older than me still. So, it's quite funny, yeah. But no, they're all guys that we get on well with, and they are now in doing situations I was in last year. I was quite fortunate last year that during the World Cup I got quite a good run of game time during that time, and there's other people who are getting sort of situations like that all the time. You know, people like Lewis Wynn have come in for really good games during the pre-season and did very well against Connacht. So people like him are doing similar stuff, and it's really good to see that.
Fantastic, Scott. Thank you very much. Now we'll have a quick chat with Leo. We won't keep him much longer, so I know the guys are itching to get the songs done. Leo, I'm gonna cut right to the chase. Talk us through your first week of pre-season.
This one is my first experience outside of Italy, so obviously I knew it would be tough, but when I started the first week of training, was much more effort than I thought. So, when I wanted every time to call my brother back home to say, I don't know if I can handle this. Then I get used to a little bit more. Was very tough all the weeks, but mentally I was quite ready, so just the first week was terrible.
A refreshing bit of honesty. And you talked about the tough times, you talked about the first week. It's also difficult to come from somewhere new to not only play your rugby but to live. Who's been looking after you? Who are your mates in the squad?
I've been in Tyrone's house. He's an ex-Warrior player, and I knew him because he played in Italy as well, and he treats me like a child sometimes. he doesn't let me cook, so he's afraid I can burn something, and so I just order takeaway.
If you believe the rumours, Tyrone had to drag him away from Glasgow Airport 4 times in the first week. And lastly, Leo.
Question.
Can I ask you a question? I've got a spare room if you want.
The lady says she has a spare room if you're needing somewhere to stay. Leo, don't answer that one, buddy. Last question, Leo. You've had a run on a new pitch. How much are you looking forward to going out there and scoring some great tries this season?
Yeah, hopefully. I think it's the best thing for us, for the weather, and to keep the rugby fast. We play a lot with the backs, hopefully. And it's the best thing for us. I'm happy for this field.
Ladies and gentlemen, please put your hands together from all the new players and especially guys. Thank you very much, guys.